Hello everybody, good morning. Let's have a look at some of these charts. We'll start off with a little bit of Bitcoin, which has poured back into the area which previously was resistance. It's now support. So hopefully that's a good look for it. It might move from here to immediate continuation, or even better, it can just wobble around sideways around this $100,000 101, 102 area. That would be much better because it would allow a little bit more time for altcoins to catch up and start to perform as you would expect in some kind of alt season. That's right. We don't normally say that, but if we do say it, we've got to remember. Pinch of salt, please. Right. XRP. This one's looking quite interesting now. So we had a nice big move yesterday. Broke above the $2.50 area. So we've been watching this for months now, waiting for 250 to break. 250 needs to break and hold on a weekly, and I'll tell you why. Because we've got this giant momentum and money flow breakout taking place as well. So we've had this on the chart for ages. You know, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high for the money flow index and for the RSI. The RSI broke out about a month ago. The money flow index is breaking out now. What we really want to see now is the price breakout. The price already has broken out in a variety of ways, but I want the horizontal to break, which is the 250. If you get the 250 breakout with all of this, you get the new all-time high. You probably get it quite quick. And actually, the all-time high, the new one, is probably going to be very quickly achieved, and maybe higher than you expect. Well, I say that. Some people expect like $500 in XRP, don't they? So maybe I'll retract that. Maybe not as high as some people expect, but definitely higher than the previous all-time high. It could easily just happen pretty much within a day. We've seen it before. And then all of XRP's little friends will do it. XLM, Algorand, XDC, HBAR. They'll all be given the green light to sort of run in the same way. And they will probably, well, I say probably, I don't know. They will likely run faster and harder simply because the liquidity volume is usually much, 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 much lower on those. And so if the interest starts to rocket on those sort of things, people want to just jump on in. You want to see, well, you will see the moves take place much bigger on the ones which basically if you get in at the top of the Ponzi scheme, basically is all I'm saying. Same as I usually say, but it's just an observation, and that's what I expect to see. But we're not there yet. We've not closed a weekly above 250. Right. So Ethereum. So all eyes on Ethereum, really. Big, decent close last week. So we've gone from support. We're above resistance. Getting rejected around the 50 exponential. You want to get held above the 2,400 area. That's kind of where you need to see weekly's closing if you want immediate continuation. If we move to the 4 hourly, you can see that we're already dancing around support as well, which is good. So I'll zoom in on this rubbish laptop. I will be going home at some point this week, I promise. So we've lost the center of the Bollinger Band. We're sitting on top of the horizontal and also this 21 exponential moving average. So the 4 hourly's still got a good chance that it can ricochet and bounce and continue immediately from here. I'm not saying it definitely will. There's a good chance it could. But I'm not saying it definitely will. But at the moment, it's not fully broken down from this rally. If it does lose this area, 2,400, probably we're looking for around 2,100, 2,115 before the next area to get picked up from. Right, what else should we think about? The Bitcoin dominance up 0.5%. Well, you'd expect something like that, wouldn't you, really? So we've moved all the way from the bottom up towards the top of the range. 4 hourly, sort of getting. It's a rough area of resistance. The center of that Bollinger Band. The main thing to focus on here is the higher term time frames, being a weekly and a daily. So starting off with a daily, still below all moving averages, which is good, very good. If you're into altcoins, obviously that would be. Next major level of resistance, 63.5% dominance, and then obviously a little higher beyond that because you have been climbing for a little while. Now, if you move to the weekly is obviously very bullish still. It's going to probably be bullish until you see an area sort of crack below 61.5%, 62% dominance, and even then you've got 58, and you've got 54, 55, and you've got 46. However, It's nice to see a little bit of a rupture take place for the first time in months. And we've got bearish divergence. We had an overheated money flow index, as we've been talking about for a couple of weeks, which anecdotally has been the third highest technically that it ever was in this chart. So I've been talking about the potential for an alt season, although the environment for it is not, it's not particularly favourable. Anyway, there's your dominance chart, still pointing down, I would say, and looking for further downside. Now, S&P 500. So looking pretty good at this point now. We're above the discomfort zone with a very powerful close on it yesterday. We're down 0.5% today, which is only fair, all things considered, because I think it closed about 3. Yeah, it did 3%, over 3%, 3.2% close on the S&P. Very bold there. The beginning of a new week, we'll see where it goes from here. Obviously, we can see that we are pulling back a little bit by 0.5%. We'll have to take ourselves to a 4-hourly. I mean, something like a 3% move in a day on the S&P. It does require a pullback. We can get pretty bullish if you get support above this previous resistance, 5,758. Maybe even pull back a little deeper than that, 5,660. All of those areas were what we were thinking a massive support resistance area. I'm particularly worried about those areas as we were approaching it. We didn't want to have all those gains that we've made over the last month or so wiped out in an instant if we got fully rejected from there. But, the power of crypto allowed for that resistance to be sliced right through just yesterday, just opened. I mean, you can see that, you can even see the gap, really, between resistance to resistance. Basically, the gap was just created between the resistance box. So now, pullback is taking place, and we just want to see if we can hold above 5,760. If we can, probably get immediate continuation from there. Anyway, much is up for discussion. It's all up for debate. This is what the charts say. Whether somebody turns around and says something stupid on the telly is a different story, but this is what it looks like at the moment. So, allow for the pullbacks into the support. Looks like mostly Bitcoin and XRP and Ethereum have already hit the support. Whether they get pulled down further as stocks open this afternoon, that's a different story, and that could easily happen. So we'll just have to keep our eyes peeled on the pre-market. Can the pre-market pull back before stocks open this afternoon? That would be good if it could. Sort of move down into support, bounce from there in the pre-market, open the markets later on, continuation. That would be amazing. But 3.5% on the S&P in a day is pretty unusual. So might need a pullback. Right, I'll leave with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day. Take it easy.